YouTube, hey, happy holidays. Casey Dimon here, TaxSaleAcademy.com. Thank you so much for joining me as we record an episode for the Tax Sale Podcast. Be sure to take us on the go at TaxSalePodcast.com. Again, the TaxSalePodcast.com. Let's go ahead and switch on over to the audio portion of this podcast. Welcome to the Tax Sale Podcast, where tax sale investing is made easy. I'm Casey Dimon, a tax sale veteran, expert, and trainer, author of the Tax Sale Playbook, founder of the Tax Sale Academy, and your host right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. First off, thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast. And as always, at the conclusion of this podcast, if you're looking to learn more about investing in tax defaulted real estate, head on over to TaxSaleAcademy.com. Again, that's TaxSaleAcademy.com. First off, guys, happy holidays to you and your family. And thank you so much for listening to my podcast. It truly means a lot to me. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Guys, today I'm actually going to do something a little bit different, something that I've never done before. And it's mostly because we're around the time of year where people start setting goals and start setting New Year's resolutions. Unfortunately, I don't know the exact number, what they say at least, but the overwhelming percentage of these goals and of these resolutions are out the window and they're broken in a matter of weeks. So today I'm not going to be discussing tax sale investing directly, but rather some strategies and habits that I've found to be helpful for me on a personal level, which ultimately, of course, allows me to have much more success in my business. Between investing in tax sales, teaching at the Tax Sale Academy, my private coaching sessions, my one-on-one mentorships, my family, and various other things that happen in my life, I've realized over the years that in order to be the most productive I can be, I have to develop certain strategies in my life, and I couldn't just fly by the seat of my pants and hope for the best. And everybody's been there. If you're right now, you're the person that wakes up and you're not sure what you're going to do that day, or you don't have a routine or a habit at all, you're just flying by the seat of your pants. That might work short term, but it's very, very important to get a long-term plan in place. Now, guys, I'm not an expert in any of this stuff, and in fact, most of the stuff I've learned from other people over the years. But hopefully what you can do is take a few things away from today's podcast and apply them to your life. And ultimately, of course, it'll have a nice impact on your tax sale business. So let's discuss 5 ways to help you see more success in your life. The first one is set goals. And this is probably the most cliche one. It's probably the most obvious one. I'm sure you heard it over and over again, but you hear it over and over again for a reason. We all need something to strive for, something to work towards on a daily basis. And it's important to have an idea of where you want to head. Sure, your goals will likely change over time, but if you don't know where you're going, then you're never going to know how you get there. When it comes to specifics, I always set lofty goals, but eventually ones that are obtainable. And there's a quote that we overestimate what we can do in a day, but we underestimate what we can do in a year. And that is so truthfully. It's very, very important to set goals that are measurable as well. Be very specific with your goals. Have a way to know when you've made it to that goal. Don't be generic. Something that I personally do is I write down my goals every single morning. And you can buy a spiral notebook in bulk off of Amazon. So at the very top of that page, I write the date, and then I write down all my goals as quickly as possible. And I'll usually fill up about, 3/4 or so of the page, and then I'll move on to the next page, and I'll do it all over again the following day. It's a very, very easy and very quick method to constantly remind me what I'm working towards and what the end goal is for that particular day. So it's a great way to push me to be as productive as possible. Something else that I'm a very strong believer in is a morning routine. Developing a morning routine will allow us to make sure that every single day is going to be set up for success. There's a book out written by Hal Elrod called Miracle Morning. And it goes into detail on his idea of a miracle morning and his idea of the morning routine. And if you haven't read it yet, I really highly suggest it. I don't know the guy personally, and I'm not getting anything out of this, but Miracle Morning is a fantastic book on developing your own morning routine. The basics behind the entire principle is that we need a routine in the morning to adjust our minds and our bodies in preparation to succeed that day. Now, I don't follow the exact routine as referenced in Miracle Morning, but my routine does kind of closely resemble, and I developed it around his suggestions. And the more I follow this routine, the more I believe in it. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about my daily routine on this podcast, but just understand that whatever you do, it needs to include at the very least a quality breakfast. That's something that I didn't do for many, many years, but A quality breakfast is so very important. And then some quiet time to clear your head, to get rid of all distractions, kind of sit there to yourself and think. And then, of course, some exercise. Exercise, obviously, there's so many benefits to it. There's some other factors that are going to be helpful, some other variables you can toss in there, but those are considered non-negotiables in my opinion. So again, make sure you set yourself up for success by having some sort of morning routine. Another suggestion is to practice constant gratitude. Be thankful for everything that you have. I understand that we all have challenges in our lives and we all face our own battles, but by showing constant gratitude for where you are in life, you'll become happier and ultimately you'll become much more productive. I can promise you that. The stat says there's 150,000 people that die every single day. So if you have nothing to be thankful for, you can at least be thankful if you're alive, right? You can always start with that. What I usually do is I sit quietly and I either think or I write about a few things that I'm grateful for. Just for a few minutes. It doesn't have to take hours or anything like that. You can start off with just the very, very small things. Your health, clean air, water, food, that kind of stuff. Really sit back and think about everything that you do have in your life. And I promise you that you're much more fortunate than you probably realize. And once you start practicing gratitude, you'll be thankful for everything you have around you. You'll be thankful for the opportunity to even become a tax-sale investor and for the investments you've made in the past. So being grateful can really have such a positive impact on your life. The next one is to learn how to focus. And this is one that I actually struggle with to this day. But one issue that I used to always face was that I could never seem to get anything done. I'd go from an email to a text message to researching an auction list, to a phone call, to a YouTube video, to placing a bid, to this, to that, all within like 10 or 15 minutes of each other. I'd just bounce from one thing to another. My attention would be pulling in every different direction. I'd be incredibly busy, but when I look back at the very end of the day, I just couldn't figure out what I'd actually completed. Eventually, I realized I just had too much stuff going on to really be productive, trying to do it all at one time. I had lost my focus. Then I started to get serious about it. I started to schedule out my life and the most important task, and this made all the difference in the world to me. On any given day, I will know what it will look like well in advance. Everything operates as a well-oiled machine, and therefore there's very little wasted time throughout the day, which is my ultimate goal. I want as much productive time as possible. My suggestion is to start off with just a few of the most important things and put them down on a schedule. And then if you have to, make a few lists, maybe a to-do list, something like that, to help you reach the point where you actually knock off the big thing, the big important stuff. Then expand from there. The idea is to make sure that you're prioritizing your time properly and that there is no wasted time. And my last suggestion is to enjoy today. Enjoy today and be hopeful for tomorrow. Until I started to get older, and especially once I had a son, I didn't realize just how quickly time can move. Today, right now, the moment you're in will never happen again. And when you really sit back and think about that, that's really incredible. It's even kind of sad, right? Today will never, ever happen again. So it's very important that we enjoy every single day. We enjoy the moment that we're in. And even if you don't have children or a family or anyone or anything, why not enjoy today to the very best of your ability? Why be miserable? Sure, I'm a believer that we should do everything possible to make tomorrow better than today. But while we're here in today, it's so important that we enjoy it. This will ultimately make you happier, which will turn into a better tomorrow. And the domino effect will mean you have a better life for many years to come. So sit back and enjoy today. Guys, again, I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, but hopefully you can learn some of the stuff that I've learned for myself that has helped me over the years. We're going to get back to tax sale investing directly in the next week's episode. But I hope you have an incredible holiday season and a great start to the first of your year. If you'd like more information on tax sale investing, head on over to taxsaleacademy.com. And as always, guys, if you do find this episode or any other episode helpful, be sure to take a few seconds out of your day to leave us some positive feedback and consider sharing our podcast, and it would truly mean the world to us. Take care, guys, and make it a successful day. Bye-bye.